Those of you who have been to this conference before, as I said, it's the 7th one in the series. We have traditionally had a kind of a measuring tool made available that kind of tells us if we are ready, if the equipment is ready, if the business is ready for getting on with gas-fuel ships. That tradition has been abolished this year. And what do we have instead? Well, not a formal assessment tool per se, but we will discuss over the course of today and tomorrow the state of play in the industry and how well we are advanced in this. But also there have been a few issues. Actually, could we get this monitor turned on so I don't have to turn around all the time? Just for the organizer. Sorry about that. I will have to turn around a little bit to actually remember what I wrote on the slide. Gas fuel ships, or LNG as a fuel for ships, is just about to take off. We have heard it, I would say, at every conference since the first one 7 years ago, that this is just about to happen, and I presume it is still just about to happen to some extent. Of course, over the course of the years, something have happened. We have some ships that have been equipped, and there are projects on the table, and we can see that in the conference proceedings. We will hear about it today and tomorrow. But actually, the third greenhouse gas study that IMO published some years ago estimated that by 2020, some 11 million tons per annum of LNG, on equivalent, that's actually an oil equivalent, would be consumed in the marine industry. That is about 3% of the consumption in our industry. Is that a lot? Well, I will not judge that. This is what traditionally have been projected. And the question is, have anything really changed this state of play since we made these projections some years ago? Well, we know that the global sulfur cap has been around for a long time, but we didn't know until last month when it would actually apply, if at all, ever. But now we know that by 1st of January 2020, the global sulfur cap will be in force. I guess there is still a question if it will be enforced sufficiently to make it truly something we will all use. But we know for sure that 1st January 2020 is a date that we have to prepare for in the industry. And in this regard, LNG, of course, plays a role. But we also had a new climate agreement to replace the Kyoto Protocol from 2020 onwards. It was negotiated for a great many years with a lot of failures on the way. But last year, finally, the world got together and agreed on something, at least. And the Paris Agreement is interesting because it really allows and requires every country and every sector to contribute. And that means, of course, also the shipping industry, and that work is going on in IMO. So, the combination of the certainty of the global cap and the momentum from Paris in terms of climate change and the way it is being discussed generally throughout the industries and society. Are these really the element that will drive LNG fuel into the future as something that will be a bit more than 3% by 2020 onwards? Or are we still in a situation where lack of finance options, the fact that owners have to buy ballast water treatment systems, that we have overcapacity in all sectors, that is a hindrance to really build new ships? Will that continue to be a kind of inhibitor to really a large-scale LNG fuel uptake? These are the questions I pose to you, to the conference, and I hope that we, over the next few days, will be able to get a more clear view if these changed perspectives have really changed the way we look at this. So with that, I welcome you all to the conference, and I would like to invite Mr. Torsten Schramm, who is the DNVGL, President Maritime and a member of the Executive Board of DNVGL, to give a welcome speech from the gold sponsor. Torsten, please take the podium.
Thank you.